You took the trash out this week without a second thought. A bag of stuff you'll never see again, gone. But think about what's in it: food scraps, a broken thing, packaging. If someone dug it up in 10,000 years, they'd know what you ate, what you owned, how you lived, and how you died. Your garbage is the most honest record of you that exists. Ancient humans left the exact same record, and we've been reading it ever since. Here's the strange part. For most of human history, there was no such thing as taking the trash out. No bins, no trucks, no landfill on the edge of town. When you were done with something, a cracked bone, an empty shell, a broken blade, you dropped it, right where you stood. And over years, over generations, all of that discarded stuff piled up into something archaeologists have a name for: a midden. It's the least glamorous word in the whole field, and it might be the most important. A midden is just a trash heap. But a trash heap that's been building for 1,000 years is a diary nobody meant to write. Think about what actually ends up in your garbage. Not the things you display, not the version of yourself you post online, what you ate, what broke, what you couldn't afford to fix, what you threw out when no one was looking. A temple tells you what people wanted to be remembered for. A midden tells you what they were actually doing on a Tuesday. And for most of the human past, the trash is all that survived. The most famous of these are made of shells. In Denmark, along the coast, there are long, low mounds of gray, and when you dig into them, they're almost entirely empty shells. Oyster, mussel, cockle, millions and millions of them, eaten and tossed onto the same spot by the same families for thousands of years. In the 1800s, Danish scientists were so baffled by these mounds that they formed an official commission just to figure out what they were. Their answer gave us a word we still use. They called them kitchen middens, literally kitchen garbage. And these garbage piles turned out to be gold, because a shell isn't just a shell. Crack open an oyster, look at the growth rings, and you can read what season it was pulled from the water, the same way you read a tree. So a mound of shells isn't leftovers. It's a calendar. It tells you these people came back to this exact stretch of coast every autumn, for 1,000 years, to eat the same meal. No temple could ever tell you that. That's the actual rhythm of a human life preserved in the thing they threw away. It happened everywhere people stayed put long enough. In Japan, in 1877, an American scientist named Edward Morse was riding a train toward Tokyo when he spotted a bank of exposed shells in a cutting beside the tracks. He stopped. He dug. And he uncovered a shell mound left by the Jomon people thousands of years earlier. That single garbage heap is considered the birth of archaeology in Japan. A whole scientific field started because one man looked at an ancient pile of trash and got curious. And some of these heaps got enormous. On the coast of Florida, there are shell mounds built one meal at a time over centuries. One of them, Turtle Mound, still rises around 50 feet above the shoreline, a hill made entirely of discarded oyster shells. It got so big that sailors marked it on their charts and used it to navigate. Think about that for a second. A pile of garbage so vast, so permanent, that people steered ships by it. You take your trash to the curb and it vanishes forever. Some ancient trash became the most reliable landmark on the coast. But here's the thing that doesn't get talked about enough. The existence of a midden is itself a clue, because to build a giant heap of garbage in one place, you have to stay in one place. A group that's always moving doesn't leave middens. They scatter their waste across a whole landscape and walk away from it. A midden means people stopped moving. It means someone decided this spot was home, kept coming back, and let the evidence of their lives stack up under their feet. The moment humans started producing serious, concentrated garbage is the same moment they started settling down. Trash and home arrived together. And that created a brand new problem, one you'd recognize instantly. Garbage attracts things: rats, flies, scavengers, disease. A pile of rotting food and bone next to where you sleep is dangerous. So for the first time, humans had to think about waste. Where to put it? How far from the fire? Downwind or down the slope? Some of the earliest evidence of planning in a human settlement isn't a wall or a temple. It's a decision about where the trash goes. Keeping your home clean is one of the oldest problems civilization ever had to solve, and we've been fighting it ever since. Middens are brutally honest too. They don't flatter anyone. Dig through one and you find the truth a society would never tell you about itself. Who ate meat and who ate scraps? Whose house had fine tools and whose had broken ones? Which years were feast and which were famine? Sometimes you even find the people themselves buried right in the refuse, because in some places the dead went into the same heap as the shells and the ash. Nothing hidden, nothing polished. Just a plain record of how a group of humans really lived and who among them lived better than the rest. Not all of it was careless, though. Some of these heaps were deliberate. At certain sites, archaeologists find garbage that was clearly arranged. Great deposits of animal bone and smashed pottery laid down all at once the remains of a single enormous feast. People gathered, ate more than they could have needed, and buried the leftovers on purpose as a kind of monument to the gathering itself. The garbage wasn't the accident. The garbage was the point. It was proof the feast happened. A receipt for a moment of belonging, left in the ground for everyone after to find. And if you think we've grown out of any of this, we haven't. In the 1970s, an archaeologist named William Rathje started doing something strange. He excavated modern landfills. He studied our trash the exact same way we study a Stone Age midden, and what he found is that garbage never lies, even now. People told surveyors they barely drank, ate well, wasted nothing, and then their trash told the real story every single time. Thousands of years later, our garbage is still the most honest record of us that exists. We just bury it deeper. So here's the full picture. For most of human history, people dropped what they were done with right where they stood. That habit built into middens, mounds of shell and bone and ash that quietly recorded everything. Those heaps told us what people ate and what season it was, when they arrived and when they left. They marked the moment humans stopped wandering and started staying. They forced us to invent the whole idea of waste. And in their honesty, they preserved a truth about ancient lives that no monument ever would. Every civilization you've ever heard of left two records. The one it built on purpose, the temples, the tombs, the statues meant to say, "Remember me," and the one it left by accident, the trash, tossed over a shoulder and forgotten. And it's almost always the accidental one that tells us the truth. You took the trash out this week and thought about it for 3 seconds, but somewhere under a Danish field, a Florida hillside, or a Japanese railway cutting, 1,000 years of someone else's forgotten garbage is still telling their whole story. One day, so will yours.